Welcome to all. This is Global Networking G100. I am Mark Interini, Global Chair, and I'm again in this wonderful and enjoyable space for sustainability. Besides SDG4 Education, second part, we are going to be focused on practical aspects. What mean tools, what means specific regions, specific cultures. You are going to be delighted with all the stories of all these wonderful expertise. We like to say a friendly conversation within experts. And I would like to start with a situation that is related to sustainability and also related to education. Let me tell you this reflection. Jean. All of you use jeans, or mostly of you like to use jeans. Well, it was not until, let's say, 1 decade ago that we realized that it's extremely polluted to the environment. For one pair of jeans, it takes 1,500 gallons of water. That is the manufacturing aspect. But also, they have the other aspect, that they spread small microparticles of plastic, microplastics, that pollute the atmosphere, but also goes to the ocean. So what we have learned from that? First of all, that we need to change awareness. Second, that we have to change our consumption habits. 4, we have to change the industry. It's not to go against the jeans industry, it's to help them to innovate, to improve, to be creative, and to create something that is not harmful, but keeping that tradition to use jeans. And that is a whole sense of educating people, educating the public sector, the private sector, and individuals. So education is not only about teaching children, it's also about us, about the whole system, that we need to be educated for a new world and a new sustainable way of living. That's why I'm so welcome all of you. Most of you know it. Anja Caron, Franca Colosso, Shitendra Isvarasta from India, and Padma Priya also from India. Both, we have to say that they are having problems because there is raining heavily in India, so they're going up and down with the technology. It's an aspect that we are going to address also for education. They are both from India, Anja in Germany, Franca in Italy, and myself in Spain. And we are going to talk about global education. And I think just for the places where we are legitimated to speak on this wider way, wider approach of what it means to achieve accessibility and quality education for all. Who wanted to start? Who is the courage one? Franca? Yes? We cannot hear you. Let me...
Yes, I will start. Is it okay?
Franca, do you need Franca is a blogger of long-term economy. She's a peace ambassador. She's a writer and a speaker and a wonderful leader also for women and not women, also for women and men. No, it's a big network. And Franca had been living 7 years, isn't it, Franca, in Turkey, and as a teacher. So this is something that is absolutely interesting. All her background applying to what it means to be in a completely different culture, and how she merged with them. We could say that you merged with the Turkish. Yes, you did.
Okay.
Franca, welcome.
Okay. Nice to stay here. I'm happy to stay here in this meeting. Thank you to Mara Introini and to all wonderful people here. I will introduce, I want to add to your presentation, Mar, I am also blogger of long-term economy and sustainability. So my experience is more complete now. I can introduce the subject, my experience in Turkey. Very, very quickly. Talking about education for me means getting to the core of my experience as a seconded teacher in Istanbul for 7 years by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These abroad works, parentheses, which began during my teaching in Italian schools, first of technology and geometric design, then of art history, followed a long series of competitions I passed, even to go and teach abroad. I will briefly tell you about my experience as a teacher abroad, because from the latter, I expanded my culture knowledge and built bridges to bring heterogeneous cultures together. In fact, my passion for languages, together with the curiosity to know other countries and civilizations, pushed me to overcome all the difficulties inherent in the 7-year transfer from my country, Italy, to Turkey, of different cultures and religions. The first impact with the abstruse Turkish language was not easy, as was the initial impact of teaching in the largest Italian school abroad, the IMI in Istanbul, to students in the preparatory classes who didn't speak Italian. But the love for my students and the use of tools such as images drawn on the blackboard allowed me to get closer to their world. So gradually, students' learning of the Italian language, also through drawing, has followed increasingly accelerated rhythms, allowing them to then access the Lyceum. Now I am in contact with my former students who have become professionals, appreciated all over the world, and we write to each other on social media in Italian. The annual exhibition of their drawings, winners of national and international awards, have also marked a fruitful collaboration with their Turkish upper classes families. This led me to learn the Turkish language in order to better communicate, not only with the families of my students, but also with the Turkish people. I, therefore, believe that it is essential to build bridges of peace and collaboration between peoples and the different religions and civilizations, immersing ourselves in the social fabric and making use of all the tools that the technology has endowed us with. I am thinking not only of the courses of Turkish and foreign languages that I followed at the various cultural institutes in Istanbul, but of the difficulties of today's school, of women, mothers and wives who sacrifice themselves for their families every day, and also students. The COVID-19 crisis has disrupted the learning of children, young people and adults at an unprecedented scale. It has also magnified the pre-existing inequalities in access to meaningful literacy learning opportunities, disproportionately affecting a lot of people, non-literate young people and adults. Youth and adult literacy were absent in many initial national response plans, while numerous literacy programs have been forced to halt their usual modes of operation. Even in the time of a global crisis, efforts have been made to find alternative ways to ensure the continuity of learning, including distance learning, often in combination with the in-person learning. Access to literacy learning opportunities, however, has not been evenly distributed. In fact, the post-pandemic crisis has taught us an important lesson: the ability to dialogue with the world through various online courses and meetings like today's. The schooling presence is especially optimal for the mental health of pupils, but in the face of the economic and social collapse, we are faced with an unprecedented challenge: how to cope with the economic difficulties of those who are marginalized and far from the most urbanized and efficient pole. They find themselves learning with a few tools at their disposal. Surely, if we want to give women relief as mothers and workers, we should also think about the education of their offspring, to increase education in rural areas, especially in areas where wars, poverty, and disadvantaged economic conditions have led to a decline in general education and etc. The world leaders, the World Bank, the Monetary Fund, the UN, UNESCO, and so on, and we all should play the cause of aid to the weakest sections of the world population. Therefore, my speech today is not only intended to be theoretical, but practical. How to help? It's a question of raising funds to make available at least the technology for distance learning, teaching, the same very common, for example, in Australia, due to the considerable distances between pupils and teachers. But where the condition for face-to-face teaching exists, we are welcome with all the precautions that in these times of a pandemic we know all too closely. I conclude my brief speech with the hope that each of us will become more citizen of the world and less tied to his country of origin, in a sort of stubborn nationalism. Only by looking at our fellow men as brothers, we could overcome the dichotomies of this era, which often sees populist closures and prevailing selfishness. I firmly hope that women are the forerunners of this pacifist revolution, and that they know how to overcome cultural and religious dichotomies, looking at the well-being of their children who will be the citizens of tomorrow. Education then will be the cornerstone of economic growth in a sustainable way to make our world a better place to live in. I finish.
Thanks so much, Franca. It was really fantastic. As usual, we didn't expect less than you. And you have opened this debate, and you see the banner that is like a road that we are walking. We are driving. Someone going bicycle, someone going in a high speed with the car, but we are all walking to that SDG4 education, this agenda 2030 that is challenging us all the time. So all these storytellings, personal experience, and will to connect with other cultures, I think it had to be one of the axes to enter into global education. We are going to talk more about that. I am a bit worried, I have to confess, about India and this heavy raining that you are living now. So I would like Shitendra and Padma to speak right now, just in case we have troubles with your connection. Padma Priya is chairperson of Andhra University from the Board of Studies. She's a writer, she's a teacher, so she is very much welcome to speak on what means education. She has talked to us about what have lived in India with COVID and the impact on COVID. Today, Padma, practical aspect on SDG4, the floor is all yours.
Namaste, Mar Intrioni, Global Chair All Ladies League, Franca Colazo, Blogger Long-Term Economy, Anja Karen, G100 Global Chair, Circular Economy, Jitendra Srivastava, Senior Consultant. Good evening all. Thank you for having me this evening. Thank you, Mar, for giving me this opportunity once again in the second edition of Sustainable Development Goals 4. I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm going to be speaking on agility in education during and after COVID. I would like to start with the quote of Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago. He once said that never let a serious crisis go to waste. So I will be talking around on these lines. Novel coronavirus brought much novelty in the field of education. In a way, it fueled the transformation of education from traditional classroom teaching to e-learning methods, right from primary education to the higher education. An invisible enemy, COVID-19 impacted student-teacher community, social economic system, even the top-class universities across the world were less equipped to face the challenges during the first wave of the pandemic. The existing global implementation rate of all the Sustainable Development Goals programs was slowed down. Bill Gates rightly pointed out success today requires the agility and a drive to constantly rethink, reinvigorate, and react and reinvent. Being agile is the only way to survive in this period of uncertainty. Flexibility, resilience, upskilling, and reskilling can promote the achievement of sustainable development goals without any hindrance. The agility in education has become an influential factor during COVID and in the post COVID scenario. Learning agility is the willingness and the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn all the time. And the educational administrators who were less psychologically and technologically not much prepared for the new challenges gradually came to terms to face them. In order to achieve quality education, one of the aims of SDG4, technology can be effectively used. Administrative and pedagogic agility to technical advances is the need of the hour. The digital environment and its support systems, upskilling of teachers, background logistics, fair assessment methodologies, social agility, and employer agility do matter a lot. In India, MOOCs, Swayamprabha, Internashala, and other e-learning portals were mostly searched for during the first wave pandemic, which indicate social agility. People are very fast to move and adapt to the new technologies. Global teachers and the student globally teachers and students quickly adopted to e-learning tools and blended learning methods. Some of the universities quickly implemented the pedagogical changes according to the new standard operating procedure. Educational institutions are slowly returning to offline phase after the second wave. According to Warren Kidd, three aspects, return, recovery, and agility, will play out in complex ways in schools from the new academic year. Academicians and administrators have to explore best teaching, learning, and assessment methods in which ultimately the primary stakeholders have to be benefited. Virtual learning environments and distance learning have opened up programs to students who would otherwise be excluded. For instance, In America, Complete College is an initiative that supports adult education and trying to fill the equity gaps in graduation and to boost the college completion of adult learners among the Black community colleges. Tailor-made courses have to be offered as international travel restrictions are prevailing in the countries worldwide. And educational and employment opportunities in some of the countries are creating an unwelcoming environment for the foreign students. To achieve sustainable development goals, the digital divide and the included gender divide must be addressed through a holistic approach. These two factors play a key role in the successful and smooth shift to online learning. Professor Tommaso Velletti, Imperial College, says that unless digital exclusion is taken seriously as a part of a wider task to reduce inequality, millions of poorest people will suffer the consequences. Yes, I think all of us will agree with this. And also, according to Joseph Chambers, in the UK, there are 9 million people who can't use internet without help and 7 millions with no internet access at home. Back in India, Digital 2021 India estimated that total internet penetration in India stood at 45% only in January 2021. Internet usage embeds age, location, gender, caste, and language. So these facts are indicating that blended learning methods are more favorable instead of total shift to e-learning. In this almost 1.5 year worldwide, more people accessed internet, yet many disadvantageous sections are still unprivileged. So with this brief uh, introduction or views on this, agility in education, I thank you, Mar, and all the panelists. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Now you are giving us the opportunity to listen to you, Padma. You are our academic representative because we have done that. Academic representative, Shitendra, the business representative. No, so we NGOs with Anja and Karen that are presidents and managers of their own NGOs related to education specifically. And Frank and I, we are bloggers. We are the free spirits, isn't it? We are both. No. I was before I go with Chitendra, if you are happy with that, yes? Or gentlemen are the last one. What do you make you feel better? You are muted.
Yes, I will speak last. Let
Okay.
Anja.
Perfect. The question that I have is for both of you. According to the Global Innovation Index for 2020, India ranks on the 48th overall in terms of innovation and ranks amongst the 15 nations in information and communication technology. What do you think about that? It applies to education or is running behind despite these advances and this beautiful ranking, isn't it? Padma or Jitendra?
Yeah, I think India is doing quite well in the field of information.
But do you think that this is applying to education? That really technology have been introduced in education in India, or is going? Or is more about companies and of the business sector and not the education?
No, education actually is being covered by this technology in most of the higher education institutions, and the government is, developing this technology on a war footing scale all around, from north to south, east to west. So gradually we will be, I mean, much ahead in this information and communication technology.
Okay, what do you think, Padma?
Yes, this ICT is very useful and it need to be introduced. And already India has introduced, for example, in our colleges, we have virtual classrooms. We are using digital classrooms. Crores, lakhs of monies are being spent on these virtual and digital classrooms. And we are using those. And students are very much happy to have an ICT environment and than to routine face-to-face, the routine traditional classroom teaching. They are very much happy, and we are also reaping the fruits of this ICT in the classrooms.
So certainly we could get into the conclusion that technology is helping, with no doubt, to enter a new age, a developed age on a positive aspect, isn't it? In education, I mean.
Yes.
Yes. No. Okay. Okay, Jitendra, you would like, you like to say something more, or we could go to Anja.
Yes, you can. I was just agreeing with Franca actually when she said women are the front runner in this field, education, because we know that our first teacher also is a mother. So that starts, learning starts from the mother actually.
Yeah.
And then there's a saying that you teach a man to fish and he will eat it. And you teach a woman to fish and she will feed the family. So that is how the difference is between men and women. Women are better teachers and as well as learners.
He cannot deny it. Jitendra is a he for she activist, and he really means it. He's in campaign all the time. Thank you for that, Jitendra. Anja, your turn. Our German French, our global. Anja is a global chair of G100 in circular economy, and also she's president of TIA International. And today she is going to talk about higher education. Before you start, I would like to read very small, few words. What it says in United Nations is what they say: equal access to is the SDG4, no? Equal access to affordable, technical, vocational, and higher education. Target 4.3 by 2030. So it's imperative to reduce barriers to skills development and technical and vocational education and training, starting from the secondary level. Okay. So this supposed to be our goal, a global one. Yeah.
True.
Go ahead, Anja.
Okay, so first of all, thank you again, Ma, for this second round of participation. And I really like that we continue our topic and not only starting once and then dropping out. And so it's a very good chance to really to complete our topic and to go forward with our experiences and sharing this. I would like to refer to my birth country because my birth country, they had elections that weekend. I don't refer how it works and what democracy will be. And but this morning, normally on the Monday morning, I don't start with a comment on a LinkedIn post, but this morning I did. It was actually a post of a young woman I really admire. She's a founder of a technical company and a women network, and she's really a strong woman. And she was posting something, and she said, we chosen our future. And then she was sending in a little picture, and that was showing climate change, all these different parts of topics of the election that been important. And first was climate change at 46%, then it was Corona, then it was retirement situation, then it was social justice, and they're running down to 12. Then it was migration, it was as well 12%. And then the last was education with 6%. So in times where we are now discussing of higher education, global education, and we are with our programs change. Symptoms. Reason that enough is a set for to have a said to live and we future place city climate situations. So not relevant to means was for yes about it. There are a lot of anchors in ancient traditions, in ancient cultures, in the philosophy sector, and we should rely again on that and have a close eye on this and think about what really education means and who is providing this in which manner. So what education means for me is quite clear. It's not becoming and building up young people to become high potentials. For me, it's to become a complete potential. So aware of their potential and spreading their wings, overcome obstacles. Just not to see obstacles, that is a question of definition. It's a question of education. If somebody is judging something as an obstacle, as a problem, or as something to rebuild or build something, and that something can grow with that. So if we are more familiar with inclusive education, we know it's the early age where judgments find place. And this is where we have to start to rethink. And as well, how do we want to provide education? Are the teachers, the professors, are they really in the manner to provide education as it is needed? What is the part of the education of the background young people need to understand complex contexts? And what is it to skill up young people that they have the awareness, the mindfulness to guide their way, the confidence in guiding their new life every day, whatever comes up in that particular moment, aware of the networks they hopefully build, and aware of their skills they always have to build up eternally, all their life long, as we do. There's no difference in that. So if I see tools and development, and that is what we all seen in the pandemic, schools in Germany, in Europe, and many other schools, and we have the problems with the technology infrastructures, but as well it's to understand from my point of view that technology can only be a driver. So I love what my speakers before said, that it is a tool, that is blended learning, and for me, if you have to understand in which kind of setting you provide which kind of information and learning. And therefore, you choose the skills and you choose the tools. And that needs, again, new knowledge because it is constantly changing and a kind of evolution. And this is what we understand more and more. Education is evolutionary. It always was. It always was organic and it always should be holistically. So from that point of view, I think we all face big challenges in the higher education and education at all. And if we see, as well I prepared some figures. It's not really my task normally, but I did. So we see that 23% of the Delphi study and future work, they said 23% of all people in the world who would be able to enter workforces, they will be unemployed. What does it mean? On the other hand, on the other side, we will have new markets, circular economy and green economy. These are not only some topics. This is our future. And to build circular economy and circular societies, we need minds to do that. We have to have a special background, people who are really skilled in a way of interdisciplinary working, of globally connecting, of team building, of culturally understanding. And all these things have to come in higher education. And of course, the specific topics somebody is relying to. I know quite a few women in high positions today, as little kids, they've been interested in waste. So they learned all about waste. So you need the grit, you need the passion, and then you need a fundamental knowledge. But this is just the basis. And this has to be provided, and not many universities are skilled to do that. But I know a lot of projects, especially in India, can provide profound knowledge and field experiences, as well in Australia, as well in Brazil. But in India, I have the knowledge about that. I've seen these people. I've seen these projects. So this kind of education, this kind of particular knowledge is found in the field, and we have to find the way to understand that, to have the patience to get beyond, and then provide it in the particular field of how to prevent and to translate these informations into education, that young people will have a future and a job, and they create their job and their future. Thank you.
Magnificent, Anja. Thank you so much. You make us reflect. You make us rethink our traditional canons. No, Franca lost connection. Yeah, it's a difficult day today. I will pass the word to Jitendra and Padma to talk about what you say. I just will make a reflection, because I love what you say about the positions for the future, no? The jobs for the future. They say that 85% of the future professions, for future job position, have not been imagining right now. They don't exist right now. 85%. That means that we are studying higher education. That was your topic. At the same time, in 20 years, it could become totally obsolete. We are realize the essence, what we are going to be focused, what we need to be focused. Jitendra, Padma, please go ahead.
ancient Indian traditional education, which focused mostly on the enlightenment of the individual, the holistic development, the enlightenment of the soul. That's what she rightly pointed out about the Indian education system. That's great that you mentioned that.
I'm
And
great
really,
admirer
you
of that.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
really.
Yes.
And only 6% to education. That indicates the value we are giving it to the education, the sector, education sector. But actually, we have to provide more and more budget allocations to the education. If once we are done, if everybody is good with education, then automatically any nation will flourish. The socio-economic development of a country depends on the quality educational measures and the literacy rate. So obviously, we have to spend more and more on education.
Thank you.
Jitendra?
Yes. So what Anja says is very right, that all education should actually be holistic and must result in a circular economy kind of thing, like beneficial to both the society, the environment, and the business itself. Secondly, specialized
We lost him. Yeah, we lost him. Okay. Padma?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you would like to add something? Jitendra
I
lost.
think he's back. He's back. Ooh.
Hello.
It's a difficult day. Today is a difficult day. Okay, the challenge of being educated on technology. It means also that to accept the challenge. Yeah, Jitendra.
Okay. So that's about.
Ooh.
Okay, Jitendra, go ahead with your presentation, please, if you can.
I'm happy that I didn't decide to talk before him. I really wanted to let him first.
Yes.
Low budget allocation does not result in good quality education in terms of infrastructure, school buildings, blackboard. Those all kinds of things suffer, because even today many schools will be there without any blackboard or even chairs and tables.
Go ahead, Jitendra, with your presentation before we lost you.
Okay, I will. So first of all, Namaste, Mar, Anja, Franca, and Padma. And thank you, Mar, for yet another opportunity to share my thoughts on the critical area of SDG4 education. So I'm going to talk on achieving SDG4 in India, more in quantity, better in quality, education for all. So the Global Education Development Agenda reflected in SDG4 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by India in 2015, seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. Such a lofty goal required reconfiguration of the entire education system to support and foster learning, so that all of the critical targets and goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development could be achieved. The National Education Policy of India envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, and thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. The policy envisages that the curriculum and pedagogy of our institutions may develop among the students a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, towards bonding with one's country, and a conscious awareness of one's roles and responsibilities in a changing world. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. The curricular and pedagogical structure of school education in India is now reconfigured to make it responsive and relevant to the developmental needs and interests of learners at different stages of their development, corresponding to the age ranges of 3 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13, and 14 to 17 years respectively. It will therefore be guided by a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 design consisting of 5-year foundational stage, 3-year preparatory stage, 3-year middle stage, and 4-year secondary stage. The 5-year foundational stage will consist of 3 years of preschool for children of age 3 to 5 and 2 years for class 1 and 2 for children of age 6 to 7. Then they will move on to the preparatory stage, which will comprise of class 3 and 4, class 3 to 5, and there we will have children of ages 8 to 10. From preparatory stage, they will move to the middle stage, which again will be of 3 years, class 6, 7, and 8, and they will be children of the age group 11 to 13. And from middle stage, they will move on to the secondary stage, 4-year secondary stage, which 9, 10, 11, and 12 standards for children of 14 to 17. So, as can be seen, with a view to promote better overall learning, development, and well-being, our 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure includes a strong base of ECCE, that is early childhood care and education from age 3, because in the 5-year foundational stage, out of the 2 years for class 1 and 2, there will be 3 years for preschool also for children of 3, 4, and 5 years. This is considered as the foundation of learning because over 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6, indicating the critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of the brain in the early years in order to ensure healthy brain development and growth. In order, therefore, to ensure that all students entering grade 1 are school ready, ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education, aims to achieve universal provisioning of quality early childhood and childhood development, care, and education as soon as possible and no later than 2030. Prior to the age of 6, every child will move to a preparatory class, that is before class 1, which has an ECCE qualified teacher. I now come to the foundational literacy and numeracy, which is the ability to read and write and perform basic operations with numbers. It is a necessary foundation and an indispensable prerequisite for all future schooling and lifelong learning. However, various government and non-governmental surveys indicate that we are currently in a learning crisis. A large proportion of students currently in elementary school, estimated to be over 50 million in number, have not attained foundational literacy and numeracy. That is the ability to read and comprehend basic text and the ability to carry out basic addition and subtraction with Indian numerals. Therefore, attaining foundational literacy and numeracy for all children has become an urgent national mission with immediate measures taken on many fronts with clear goals that will be attained in the short term, including that every student will attain foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3, that is by the time he is 8 years old. Children are unable to learn optimally when they are undernourished or unwell. Hence, the nutrition and health, including mental health of children, has been addressed through healthy meals and the introduction of well-trained social workers, counselors, and community involvement into the schooling system. Furthermore, research shows that the morning hours after a nutritious breakfast can be particularly productive for the study of cognitively more demanding subjects, and hence these hours have been leveraged by providing a simple but energizing breakfast in addition to midday meals. In locations where hot meals are not possible, a simple but nutritious meal, for example, groundnuts or grams mixed with jaggery and or local fruits are provided. All school children undergo regular health checkups, especially for 100% immunization in schools, and health cards have been issued to monitor the same. I just talked about the midday meal scheme, so I will elaborate a little more on this. In India, successive development policies and 5-year national development plans have accorded high priority to education development with a view to enhance enrollment, retention, and attendance. Here we need all the three things, not just enrollment and retention, but also attendance and simultaneously improving the nutritional levels among children. The centrally assisted national program of nutritional support to primary education was launched way back in on 15th August 1975, popularly known as MDMS, midday meal scheme, which is a wholesome, freshly cooked lunch served to children in government and government aided schools in India. On 28 November 2001, the Supreme Court of India passed a mandate directing the state governments and union territories to implement the midday meal scheme by providing every child in every government and government assisted primary school with a prepared midday meal. As per 2016 and 2016-17 data, India's midday meal scheme is one of the largest school lunch programs in the world, benefiting 97.80 million children in 11.40 lakh schools. Involvement of mothers in MDMS has also led to significant improvement in cooking and hygiene. Then there is a problem of dropouts. So one of the so we have to curtail dropout rates and ensure universal access to education at all levels. One of the primary goals of the schooling system must be to ensure that children are enrolled in and are attending school. Through initiatives such as Education for All campaign and the Right to Education Act, India has made remarkable strides in recent years in attaining near universal enrollment in elementary education. As per the 75th round household survey by National Sample Survey Organization in 2017-18, the number of out of school children in the age group of 6 to 17 years is 32.20 million. It is therefore a top priority to bring these children back into the educational fold as early as possible and to prevent further students from dropping out with a goal to achieve 100% gross enrollment ratio in preschool to secondary level by 2030. A concerted national effort is being made to ensure universal access and afford opportunity to all children of the country to obtain quality holistic education, including vocational education from preschool to grade 12. There are two overall initiatives that has been undertaken to bring children who have dropped out back to school and to prevent further children from dropping out. The first is providing effective and sufficient infrastructure so that all students have access to safe and engaging school education at all levels from pre-primary school to grade 12. Besides providing regular trained teachers at each stage, special care is being taken to ensure that no school remains deficient on infrastructure support. The credibility of government schools have been re-established, and this has been attained by upgrading and enlarging the schools that already exist building additional quality schools in areas where they did not exist, and providing safe and practical conveyance and or hostels, especially for the girl children, so that all children have the opportunity to attend a quality school and learn at the appropriate level. In cooperation with civil society,
we are losing Jitendra.
our broad
Yes, Jitendra. No, we lose it.
the second is achieving universal.
We cannot hear you, Jitendra.
Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, the second is achieving universal participation in school by carefully tracking students as well as their learning levels in order to ensure that they are
No.
dropped out. So to
No, we
sum up,
cannot hear you, Jitendra. So please
sorry, you can't hear?
try to, if it's possible, if you can make because we are. Yeah.
You can't hear?
No,
Now
that's
yes.
okay.
Now
Yes.
yes.
But I cannot. Also.
Yes, we
Can you hear
can.
now? Can you hear now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So to
No, we lost it again. Your audio enter and go, Jitendra. Please let's until Jitendra can fix it, because we are on the last minutes of this event. I would like to highlight that Karen Hughes, Global Chair of Exchange in Education, she have an emergency. She couldn't make it today. We are so sorry about that, but we are looking forward for our next session of this series that we have, these friendly sessions on sustainability. Please, can we ask you, Jitendra, couldn't make it yet. So please, someone, one by one, we are going to make a small wrap up, a conclusion, a message that I would like to send. Please, Anja, go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Wait,
I'm sorry, I think there is some problem with my network. Okay, can you hear now?
Yes.
So I was just concluding by saying some of the deciding factors that influence the demand for quality education, and they are MDMS, that is midday meal scheme, qualified teachers, relevant curricula, hygienic and stable, usable toilets, positive learning outcomes, distance from home to school, safe drinking, water facilities, and provision of proper infrastructure, including blackboards and boundary walls. Now, I have, as usual, a lovely poem written by David Archer of ActionAid UK, which he presented during the Financing Education 2030 conference in Beirut, Lebanon. So this is what he has written. So governments that care should pay a fair share, and citizens should always resent anything less than 20%. What Padma was saying about the budget allocations. But the budget size is the biggest prize. So let us make rich companies face the fact and force them to pay much more tax. Then allocate funds with sensitivity for more equity and creativity. And to make sure that it is spent truthfully, invest in civil society scrutiny. The right to education will materialize with sensitivity, scrutiny, share, and size. So the simple message that we should stress is that education budget needs 4S: share, size, sensitivity, scrutiny. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste, Shitindra. You always deep, and I always like to say romantic, because I think that SDG4 it demands to be also romantic, because there is too high ambitious to get to this education for all. So we need also to keep that romanticism with us and idealism within this, what Ansha say, holistic approach, with this academic sense as Padma have approached, with this spirit, free spirit, and this passion that Franca has also delivered. Please, we have a few minutes, so let's say that the last word, the last conclusion, if you wish. Go ahead, Franca.
I start. Jitendra,
I apologize because a storm came. Suddenly the light went off. I disappeared.
Yes, it is a difficult day.
From India to Italy.
From India.
No, I want to say to tell Anja and also other very interesting your speech, very meaningful. We have some reflections that emerge, especially in this time of a pandemic. Two words: education and women. We have to put in the first place education, as Anja said before, and especially the education of women and their kids. Can you hear me? Do you hear? Is it okay? Education, the first goal to achieve. Because without education, nothing is possible. No peace, nothing else. I think so. I thank you for all.
Thank you, Franca, for always bring your wisdom and your passion as well. So, Anja, go ahead.
Okay. Jitendra, thank you very much again, because all your facts and figures, they make me always reflecting. And I think it's, yes, with your poems, you're always a little bit romantic, but you're very well grounded. And it shows me once again the challenges India faces in the education and other sectors as well. We in Europe, we will face them very soon and already do. Not every child in school has a meal. A lot of children, I've been to schools, we're not talking about healthy meals, not meals at all. They don't have proper clothes. And during all these changes now, the gap will open wider and wider, and even in other countries. So it's important to discuss this on a global sector, to see the crises, what's coming up, and how to overcome these, not only from the helicopter perspective, even well-grounded. And I think education, even higher education, it should not be a privilege. It should be open really to everybody. And if I see the kids, it's just a question of talent. And if they've been seen, if they get a chance, if they are on the right place at the right moment. Not everybody who's in the university understands the privilege that they have to have access to all this. So I'm very happy that we discussed this again, and thank you all for your insights. Thank you very much. It was very richful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's us. We feel grateful with your presence here. Padma, last minutes, few words, conclusion.
As Franca said, that she moved closer to the families of her students, and she could establish some cultural threads with them. That is really a welcoming move. All the teachers, we in the field, we need to establish the same. Then only they can feel that they can be, we can emotionally connected with them. And finally, regarding India, the constitutional right to compulsory education in the age group of 5 to 14 years is a major step by India towards achieving the goal education for all. And our University Grants Commission, it is also providing more and more scholarships, because at higher education, I mean at the post-graduation level also, we need scholarships because the rate is less there. So to increase that, University Grants Commission is providing scholarships to increase gross enrollment rate at post-graduation level. As well as our new education policy, as Jitendra mentioned, it aims at quality education, innovation, and research in education. And one more thing, Government of India, we have a wonderful scheme, that is a midday meal scheme, as it provides good nutrition as well as increased enrollment. It increased enrollment in the schools. The another aspect of this midday meal scheme, I would like to mention, let me be frank, that the aspect of this scheme is it also that the poor children eagerly wait for this one meal a day. They eagerly wait. Such is the condition of poverty in some of the rural areas. So it is a pathetic sin. Of course, it is a very good welcoming one. It increases the enrollment, and it decreases the dropout rate. So it's on the whole, it's a wonderful program by Indian government. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity and the patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you to you. This is part 2 of SDG4 Education. We didn't plan to have a third part. I think personally that we need to have a third part, because there are a lot to say, and if not, we are going to move forward. The fact that Karen Buse, our global chair of G100 Education, is not here, I think it gives us a very good excuse to continue. Here, global networking, G100, this is the way we approach dialogue, exchange, and having this so fascinated feeling that we are so close. So we are high. This is a high distance geographically, but we are so close. We listen to the situation in India. We can make many parallels in different aspects in different countries, and that is about global education, and that is why we say global networking. This is the key to move forward in the future. So we mission accomplished despite all the challenge of the rain and the connections and internet, but we make it. Thank you, all of you, and see you in next session. We don't know when, but maybe next month there could be another one. Thank you all for being there.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Stay
Bye.
blessed.
Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.